Nietzsche wrote, "I suspect that the situation is going from bad to worse. Society is declining towards a prototype of a more comfortable person, conformist, indifferent, ignorant, weak, fearful, and mediocre. This is the greatest fatality in the genealogy of morality." On the genealogy of morals, Nietzsche investigates the origin and development of traditional moral concepts such as good and evil, altruistic morality, and morality based on resentment. He proposes that these concepts are neither universal nor objective, but have their roots in human history and psychology. The book is composed of 3 interrelated essays in which Nietzsche critically analyzes traditional morality. In the first essay, he examines the evolution of the concepts of good and evil from a historical and etymological perspective. In the second essay, he delves into the origin of the feeling of guilt and how it has been used to oppress and control people throughout history. The third essay explores the relationship between the morality of the weak and the morality of the strong, arguing that traditional values have been inverted to favor the weak at the expense of the strong. In the preface to his classic work, On the Genealogy of Morals, Nietzsche wrote about the possibility that regressive traits might also appear in the so-called good man as a danger, a temptation, and a poison. He warned that the present could live at the expense of the future, perhaps with more comfort and less danger, but also in a smaller and meaner way, so that morality itself would be to blame if men never attained the full power and splendor possible for their type. Thus, morality itself becomes the danger of dangers. Most people do not question why things are considered morally good or bad, but rather adopt the value judgments of good and evil predominant in their society. According to Nietzsche, the dominant morality in the West has been an unnatural morality that turns against the instincts of life. He foresaw this morality reigning over the Western world for the foreseeable future, and for him, it was the danger of dangers, a morality in which all individuals, even those with the potential to stand out above the mediocre mass, are pressured into becoming a smaller type, almost ridiculous, a herd animal, eager to please, sickly, and mediocre. Why has an unnatural morality, a poison that has spread throughout the body of humanity, gained dominance over Western civilization? To answer this question, Nietzsche categorizes individuals into 2 distinct types: superior human beings and those who belong to the herd. Within the category of superior human beings, there are 2 main types. Firstly, there are the creative pioneers, men of great creativity who, through a rare combination of nature and nurture, dedicate their lives to a craft and bring astonishing works of beauty into the world. Alongside the creative geniuses, there are the more numerous superior human beings who do not achieve genius-level accomplishments, but still live according to higher values and principles. Both types share similar character traits that separate them from the herd. Superior human beings have a unifying life project and are consumed by the drive to realize their noble goals. This unifying project is not undertaken for short-term gratification, but as a result of the vast historical perspective of the superior man. It is a form of work done under the gaze of centuries, a goal whose effects will endure long after the superior man's physical death. As Nietzsche wrote in Human, All Too Human, the modern individual becomes too focused on his own short life and wishes to reap the fruits himself from the tree he plants. And so he no longer likes to plant those trees which require a century of constant care and which are destined to provide shade for a long succession of generations. For such lofty works, the superior man requires solitude and freedom from the herd of countless small and pitiful men. As Nietzsche wrote, the concept of greatness involves being noble, wanting to be alone, being able to be different, standing out and having to live independently. The superior man remains oblivious to the petty concerns that occupy the herd and is immune to both praise and criticism from the masses. There is a loneliness within him that is inaccessible to praise or blame, a righteousness that lies beyond conscious appeal. Faced with the momentous task before him and the potential for greatness within him, the superior man feels a sense of reverence for himself. Even in the presence of great suffering, he affirms life as a proud and well-rounded human being who is confident in the future. In contrast to these superior human beings, there are the many, the herd. The herd is composed of 2 types, the last man and the slave. The last man is the quintessential mediocre man, who seeks only comfort and contentment, an end that makes him lazy and contemptible. He is utterly devoid of any inner creative drive, and is blind to the higher values that make creativity possible. The slave, on the other hand, is a weak and sickly human being who suffers from himself and is filled with what Nietzsche called resentment, a hatred of life generated by feelings of helplessness in the face of an overwhelming and threatening reality. Nietzsche wrote, "There is among men, as in all other animal species, an excess of failures and sick people, degenerate, sick people who necessarily suffer. Successful cases are always the exception. Resentment causes feelings of envy within the slave toward those who do not suffer as he does, that is, toward superior human beings. This envy motivates the slave to seek revenge on superior individuals by joining forces with others like him, gaining a communal feeling of power, the only kind of power available to the weak. Under the pretext of calls for equality, the slave tries to bring down all those above him through the construction of a slave morality, or herd morality. Herd morality inverts the natural values of life. The individual who is strong, independent, and achieves feelings of power through his creative efforts and great health is considered bad by herd morality. On the other hand, all those who belong to the herd, the last men, the weak and powerless slaves, the vengeful masquerading as judges, are considered good." Nietzsche writes, "The slave becomes resentful, longs for revenge, suffers, murmurs, laments, and cannot stop looking with envy at the person he hates, precisely because he cannot help but admire him." Herd morality is the danger of dangers, because it seduces those who are anxious and fearful of the uncertainty and isolation that come with striving for greatness. Herd morality acts like the siren's voice, offering the potentially superior man a way to escape his overwhelming fate and immerse himself in mediocrity. If herd morality becomes too effective in tearing down all that is higher and extraordinary, nihilism will creep over the world. Without the higher values embodied by superior men, such as creativity, astonishing works of beauty, and the ability to strive for ideals, humanity will be swallowed by the herd, and existence will be deprived of its great character. Nietzsche spent much of his work undertaking a re-evaluation of values, hoping to lessen the effect of herd morality on the development of superior men. He urged the superior individual to realize that herd morality is not universal. It is only a morality suited for the herd, and should not extend beyond it. Finally, I quote one of Nietzsche's most powerful metaphors, from "Thus Spoke Zarathustra." "The tree, the more it wants to rise towards the height and towards the light, the more strongly its roots tend towards the earth, downwards towards the dark, the deep, towards evil.